What is up, guys? It is now time for Nutrition 102. I didn't do that right, but that's okay. So, Nutrition 102. If you have not done Nutrition 101, you need to go back on our YouTube page and watch Nutrition 101. Now, here's the thing about Nutrition 101, it finishes with a challenge that's 4 weeks. So, you should be 4 weeks post having watched that video and done the challenge before you get here. Even if you are a seasoned nutritional veteran, the challenge from Nutrition 101 will be beneficial to you. How do I know? Because I've been doing this for 20 years and I still go back and do those two things regularly. So go back, do Nutrition 101, take the 4 week challenge, and then come back to do this. Okay? That's all I'm asking you to do. But let's kick this bad boy off. Let's get right into it. It's going to be a little more in-depth information about nutrition and controlling how you eat. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is I want to answer this question. What is good nutrition? Okay. Because the internet is full of quote unquote nutritional advice. Some of it's good. A lot of it is really bad. It really, really is. A lot of it is very, very bad. But here's the thing. Good nutrition, sound nutrition is not complicated. It's very simple. It's very straightforward. And it breaks down basically to these four statements. You should eat whole, minimally processed, nutrient-dense food most of the time. Does that mean you can never have a beer or a piece of cake or any of that ever again? No. That's why I said most of the time. Most of the time, the food you put in your body should be unmessed with. Okay? It should be non-industrialized. It should be non-man-made. If you do that most of the time, you're going to be fine. What do I mean by most of the time? Well, we teach people to live at an 80-20 lifestyle. 80% of the time, you're choosing things like lean proteins and veggies and fruits and nuts and seeds and water. And then if you need them to fill the gaps, we can use some supplements to help us out. But we're going to live there most of the time. 80 to 90% of the time, that's what I'm going to do. 20% of the time, I'm going to allow myself to have some added sweeteners, some added sugars. I'm going to allow myself to have a drink with friends. I'm going to allow myself to, have fun with my kids and do like a macaroni and cheese night or something like that. I'm going to allow myself to go enjoy those foods that just have like a list of unrecognizable, unpronounceable ingredients, right? I'm going to allow myself to go out to dinner with friends and family and my spouse and my kids and things like that. But I'm going to do that sparingly. Those should be things that are one-off, that are like indulgences maybe, because the way I'm going to control my weight and my health is by eating really clean most of the time. Okay. Now, here's the thing about that is we have to build this mindset that consistency trumps intensity. Okay. In fact, in the CrossFit charter, when you get your level one, so one of the very first things you learn when you start becoming a CrossFit trainer and a CrossFit coach is this charter of mechanics, consistency, and then and only then intensity. That's what we're talking about when it comes to your fitness. The same is true of your nutrition. You need to learn the mechanics, aka Nutrition 101, first, and you need to do them really well consistently all the time. Those are the two main things. Now, what does that intensity look like in nutrition? Sometimes that means maybe it's like, hey, I got to lose these last 5 or 10 pounds for this trip I'm going on, or for a wedding because I have to fit in this dress, or I'm trying to fit in my dress blues because I have this ceremony to go to. Whatever that looks like, that's intensity in your nutrition. But most of the time, we're going to live in mechanics and consistency. And you have to be able to do something to do that, which is you have to go from as soon as possible to as long as it takes. Meaning I have to commit to the process that it takes for as long as it takes to get to the goal that I want to get to, right? I have people all the time that come in and are like, hey, I want to lose 40 pounds in the next 60 days. It's like, I mean, you can do that, but the likelihood of you keeping that off long term is pretty low. The reality is, why don't we commit to new habits for as long as it takes to get me to that 40-pound weight loss goal? How about that? Because that is going to build a better life than the instant gratification weight loss that's just going to rebound and I'm going to have to do it again. I don't want to do that, and I don't want you to have to do that. So 80 to 90% adherence for your lifetime is way better than 100% adherence for a 12-week challenge. Okay, and so that's what we're going to try and coach you towards, is we're going to set this goal, we're going to throw it out on a distant horizon so that it's a low trajectory, so that it's much more achievable, right? Is it easier to hike on a trail that's slightly inclined or climb a 14er that's straight up? It's much easier to stay on a long trail. It's an easier hike. And that's what I'm going to try and do. Okay. We're going to try and do this right over a lifetime. So, where does this start? It starts with water, guys. If you're not drinking enough water, and most of us in American society are not drinking enough water, we're just not. Okay. Does that mean you got to drink a gallon of water every day? No. But here's the thing about water. The adult human body is about 60% water. Kids are a little bit more. Infants are much more. And if you go down into your blood is like 90% water. Your body, a lot of the cell, a lot of the space around the cell, a lot of the space inside the cell is made up of water. If you don't have enough water in your system, those things can't work appropriately. Okay? So general guideline here is you're going to drink about half your body weight in ounces of water. The minimums right here on the screen, women, you need about 70, men, you need about 100 for most women and most men. Okay. And sometimes you have to make sure, you have to pay attention to, do I have enough minerals, sodium, potassium, magnesium, and calcium? Do I have enough of that in my body? Sometimes that means you have to add a salt additive to that. You have to put a pinch of salt in your water, especially because of the purification processes that our water goes through in the United States. It removes a lot of that stuff. So you have to be cognizant of that. But for the most part, I just want you to make sure you're getting enough water throughout your day. Okay. So ladies, let's try to get about 70. Guys, let's get ourselves close to 100. Kids need less. Teens need a little bit more. They're kind of in between men and women because they're doing some rapid growth, right? And so their body needs a little bit more water there. Why is water so important? Because it does a ton for this list of things, right? It helps with workout recovery. It's actually a part of gut health. It can help with appetite control. A lot of times when you think you're hungry, it's actually that you're starting to get dehydrated. If you drink some water, a lot of times that hunger pang will leave. Okay. If you have enough water, you're less tired. I know a lot of us is like, hey, I'm getting a little groggy. I need a cup of coffee. What you might need is a nice cup of water. Seriously. A lot of times people that get headaches, that's a hydration issue. If you're somebody who regularly gets headaches, it's likely a hydration issue. A lot of times it's water. Sometimes it's you need to add some salt to that water. If you're somebody who drinks water all the time, maybe you have too much and you've washed all the salt out of your body. You need some salt. Okay. And if you have enough water in your body, it helps with thermal regulation. So if you're somebody who's always hot or always cold and just has struggles to find that balance, it's probably because you're dehydrated. So control your water, which brings me to the next thing about liquids. What about alcohol? So I'm going to say this up front, and I want you to hear this thing first. There is zero health benefit to consuming alcohol. I don't care what the internet tells you, that wine has flavonoids and it kills free radicals and that beer can help with gut health. And there is zero redeeming health benefit to drinking alcohol. In fact, that one that gets cited all the time about, red wine being healthy for you, to get the health benefit that they claimed from that one study that everybody claims, you have to drink something like 12 gallons of wine every day to get the health benefit. Nobody's doing that. Outside of that, there is no redeeming health benefit to alcohol. There's zero. Now, alcohol is nice and can be fun in social situations. So there's some social benefit to alcohol sometimes. But outside of that, guys, there is no benefit to drinking alcohol. And it will hinder your health, fitness, and gym progress. It will. It will hinder it. By nature, alcohol slows down your metabolism and shuts down all of the surrounding systems because it's a toxin, and your body will prioritize removing the toxin from your body over any other thing that's going on in your body. So, should you drink alcohol? The answer is no. You should not drink alcohol. Am I telling you can never have alcohol again? No, that is not what I'm telling you. But what I am saying is stop trying to justify alcohol consumption because there's no redeeming factor to it outside of the fact that there are some alcohols out there that are actually delicious, and it can be fun to have a few drinks with some friends and family. Okay? The other thing I want you guys to know about alcohol is that it does add to your caloric intake. There are 7 calories per gram of alcohol in any alcohol you drink. It doesn't matter. Like, people will be like, well, I had vodka and a diet soda, so there's no calories. Nope, that's not how that works. Okay? Alcohol as a molecule has 7 calories per gram. And the thing you have to consider is drinking alcohol is a domino habit, meaning that as you drink alcohol, it lowers your inhibitions. That's part of what it does. So it makes it harder to stay on point with the diet and the habits that you're trying to build. I mean, it is way easier to binge eat a plate of nachos if you've had a few drinks, right? It leads to the consumption of foods that don't take you down a healthy pathway. Okay. It can also lead to all kinds of negative markers in your liver, in your kidneys, in your gut health, in your brain health. Alcohol has a poor effect on mental health, which can affect you long term in those healthy habits. So, how do I handle this? Okay. If you're going to drink alcohol, I would say either just do the alcohol or do sugar-free mixers. So if you're somebody who likes a mixed drink, great. Try to stick with sugar-free mixers, diet sodas, things like that. Okay. So that you can keep calories as low as possible. All right. We talked about this in Nutrition 101. Thermodynamics is a real thing. Calories in versus calories out. If we're going to go out and have some drinks and you're going to have mixed drinks, keep the calories as low as you can. Okay. You can do something like drink a glass of water in between every drink so that you can help with hydration, and it helps you from over consuming alcohol. But no matter what, you need to have a plan in place before you go out drinking so that you can just like, hey, I'm going to have one drink. I'm going to have 2 drinks, and that's it. Okay. One of the tricks that I've learned as a business owner, I got to do a lot of networking. And so I will often have just like a soda water and lime in a tall glass. Looks like I'm having a gin and tonic, right? Or a vodka Sprite. That's what it looks like, but I'm actually not partaking in alcohol. So have a plan about how you're going to manage that, because people are going to ask like, oh, are you having a drink? And you're like, no, not really today. And people are like, oh, well, but why? Know what you're going to say in response to that. And then they're going to try and pressure you in. And you say, hey, man, I appreciate that you're having a drink, but I'm not going to tonight. Thank you. Okay. Have a plan to deal with that. Guys, I'm not telling you can never have alcohol again, but I'm telling you that it will have a negative effect on your goals long term and even short term. Okay. And there is no redeeming health benefit, no matter what the internet tells you. There is no redeeming health benefit to alcohol. Alcohol is a toxin in the body. It is a poison to our body. We've just grown a tolerance, and for some of us, a real liking for alcohol. Okay. But it's not going to help you ever. So do what you can to limit your alcohol consumption. Right. So the next thing is we've got to learn about the big 3. What are the big 3? It's fats, carbs, and proteins. It's where your calories come from. Okay. Each one of those things plays a role in our body, in our health, in our fitness. Okay. What I want you to start thinking about, and we talked about this in Nutrition 101 a little bit, but I didn't say it quite this way, is the quality of your calories is how you control your health. Okay. 100 calories of lean beef is not the same as 100 calories of a brownie. It's not the same. It's not going to have the same hormonal effect on your body. One is going to give you a healthy effect. One is going to give you a less than healthy effect. Quality, calorie quantity is how you control your weight. Okay. That is the facts. Quality influences health. Quantity influences your actual body weight and your body fat. Okay. So you have to do both. Calorie control, aka balancing your macros, controls your body composition. So if you're somebody who desperately wants abs, it's going to happen in the kitchen. I don't care how much you work out. I don't care how many weights you lift. I don't care how much running you do. If you're not controlling your diet, you're not going to have visible abs. So if that's something that you want, that's the fact. Okay. If you're somebody who just wants to lose weight and feel good in your clothes and maybe feel a little sexier naked, same is true. You've got to control your calories. Where they come from is going to help with your health, how your skin feels, how your mind feels, how your body functions. How much you eat is going to control how much body fat you have. That's just the truth. Okay. So we have fats, we have carbs, and we have proteins. First thing I want to tell you, the media and the internet has done an unbelievable job of telling you if you eat fat, you're going to get fat, you're going to get high cholesterol, you're going to get heart disease, and all of these things. It is not true. It is not even close to true. It's not remotely close to true. Okay. Fats are one of the 3 macronutrients, and it's one of 2 that are essential, right? And healthy kinds of fats come from actual food. Things like avocados and nuts and seeds, okay? Things like cooking oils, right? There are certain cooking oils that are better than others, all right? Canola oil, vegetable oils, seed oils, they're not great for our body. We're learning that those things are not great for our systems. Healthier fats are things that are more naturally occurring that take less mechanization to create. The amount of mechanization it takes to create things like coconut oil and soybean oil and a lot of the different seed oils, corn oil, things like that, those tend to be less good than things like coconut oil and olive oil, right? Avocado oil, that oil comes out. Those are fat dense things. Those oils come out very easily. Cooking things with things like tallow and duck fat and even lard is often better than mechanized industrialized oils. Okay. We're finding that out, that it plays a huge role in this. Okay. Fat, especially healthy fats, play a massive role in your body's ability to process the hormones that exist in your body correctly. Okay. Also, fat is something that we call essential, meaning your body cannot create these fats. You have to ingest them to use them and create good health in your body. If you cut out all fat out of your diet, it will have really bad effects on your diet. Okay. The thing about fat is you have to be smart about your portion control. Fat is very calorically dense. It's the most dense macronutrient. There are 9 calories per gram of fat. So you have to limit your intake. You have to be smart about your intake to about a thumb-sized portion. So from the tip of my thumb down to the base of my thumb, okay, I want to have about a thumb-sized portion of fat with every meal. Whether that's from cooking oils or something actually edible on my plate, that's about where I want to be. Okay. So fat isn't going to make you fat. Fat is not a demon. Fat is fine. Make sure you make healthier choices about it and eat more natural fats than industrialized fats, but they're good for you. It's okay. You just have to be smart about how much you eat because, again, calories in, calories out. That's a real thing. Okay. Next one on the list, carbohydrates. This is something you definitely have to control for a couple of reasons. Okay. Carbs are, in fact, and you will hear this from a lot of nutritionists and dietitians and nutrition coaches, blah, 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 blah. Carbs are your body's preferred source of energy. Why? Because it breaks down quickly and can be used as energy very quickly. However, carbohydrates are not essential in your diet, meaning you do not have to ingest them. Why? Because your body can create its own carbohydrates. Your liver plays a huge role in something called gluconeogenesis. Gluco, sugar, neo, new, genesis, create. It can create its own sugars. That's what carbohydrates are. Carbohydrates all break down into sugars in the body that are usable for energy when we need them. You do not have to intake carbohydrates to have carbohydrates in your body. Your body can make all the carbs it needs. You never have to have another carb again. Now, I say that to also say carbs are delicious and they're also not the enemy. Okay? Carbs are the thing that are the easiest to overeat. So you do have to be more cognizant of that. And you should opt for carbohydrates like veggies and fruits. Yes, carbohydrates come from veggies and fruits. And you can have things like rice and potatoes and beans, but I want you to stay away from the ultra processed things like breads and pastas and chips and things like that. And sweets, right? That additive sugar. Those are the things that add up calorically really quickly. It's much, much easier to overeat bread than it is squash, right? So you have to be cognizant of the carbohydrate choices that you make. Bread is not an evil thing. It's just way easy to overeat. Same thing with pasta. Like I dare you, if you haven't done it yet, I dare you to weigh out an actual serving of pasta. It is way smaller than you think it is. Same thing with chips. It's way smaller than you think it is. Oftentimes, if you look at the back of your bread bag, a serving of bread is sometimes a half a slice. That's crazy. And here we are eating 2 slices. So we're having 4 servings of bread thinking it's perfectly healthy. Or shout out to Subway teaching us that it was a healthy thing to eat a whole loaf of bread. Guys, that's too many calories. You have to be smart about that. And it's easy to overeat. So when it comes to carbs, how do I control my portion sizes? When it comes to things like veggies that are much lower in calories and much higher in fiber, which is super helpful for your gut health, you're going to do about a fist size at your meal. So if you make a fist, that's how much veggie should be on your plate. Okay. When it comes to starches, things like potatoes and rice and beans and squashes, you're going to do a tight cupped handful. Okay. So if I make a tight cupped handful and I just fill the cup of my hand with that starch, that's about how much starch I want to have on my plate. Okay. So think about that. How much bread could you fit in a tight cup handful? Not very much, right? Unless I'm smushing it down in there. And then that's, I can get 6 slices of bread in there and that's not healthy. Okay. So you have to be smart about that. All right. So let's talk about protein. That's the last one left, right? And here's what I'm going to tell you. Protein rules. And I know I sound like a gym bro when I say that. I get that. But here's the thing about protein that it's become shunned in most of the mainstream nutrition offerings. But the problem with that is protein is what makes up every cell in your body. Okay? Protein is made up of a whole chain of something called amino acids. Every structure in your body, your skin, your hair, your intestinal cells, your heart cells, your arteries, every cell in your body is made up of amino acids. They are the building blocks of every single cell in your body. And if you don't have enough amino acids in your body can't heal and function correctly. Okay, we talked about fats are essential, meaning you have to ingest them to get them into your body so that they can be used. Carbs are not. You do not have to eat them because you can create your own. The same thing that's true for fat is true for proteins. Your body cannot create its own amino acids. You have to ingest them so that you can use them to heal your body and build stronger muscles and build better skin and stronger teeth and stronger bone and all of that. Okay? If you don't have enough amino acids in your diet, You can't do those things at all. Therefore, protein is an essential macronutrient. So of the three, protein and fats are essential. Carbs are not. That doesn't mean carbs are bad. We just don't have to have them. Okay? So the most powerful way, this is of 20 years of doing this, this might be the most true statement of all of the nutrition advice I give you. The most powerful way to change your body composition is to make sure you're getting enough protein in your diet every day. And it should be leaner sources of protein if you can help it. Why? Because it has a higher thermic effect, meaning it's as we break down our food, it's costly, right? It costs us calories to break down our food. Protein takes the most calories to break down. Okay? So that's number one. Number two is if you are hitting your protein goal, it is way easier to not overeat other things because protein has a satiating effect on your appetite. It will help you stop eating before you get to that point where you're just like miserable and bloated. You're like, oh my God, I ate too much. Okay. It's much harder to overeat protein than it is to overeat fat or carbs. Okay. The minimums here that we have that we've been able to find in research is that for ladies, you need about 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. Men, you need about 1 gram per pound of body weight. Okay. So the quick way to measure this is the palm of your hand and the thickness, right? So I want about this thickness and this size of protein at every meal. And it's 1 to 2 servings per meal. Okay. Ladies tend to need less, guys tend to need more. There's a caloric need difference between men and women. And so you have to pay attention to that. Ladies, you should not be trying to eat like your husbands. It's not a good idea. Okay. So how do I figure out how much is right? We recommend the zone diet. This has been the most successful breakdown of macronutrients I have done in 20 years of doing this. And it's not close. Okay. Unless you're going into high-end athletics, then we can start tinkering with a little bit more carbohydrates because you have a higher demand for that quick energy. But for 99% of us, the zone diet is where you should be living. 40% from carbs, 30% from fats, 30% from proteins. Okay. Now, we are working on a zone diet breakdown and how to do that really, really well as a separate video. But it's really simple to Google the zone diet and figure this out. If you guys want a more in-depth, you can always shoot me an email, and I have some other articles that you can read to help figure them out on your own. But this is what we recommend. Here's the cool thing. If you use this hand method I've been teaching you through this whole video, you're going to get real close. Okay? A palm serving of protein, a fist of veggies, a cupped hand of starches, and a thumb size of fat will put you right about in line with that 40-30-30 measurement. And like I said, for ladies, 1 hand of everything is about right. For guys, it's about 2. Okay? If you're a smaller guy, maybe 1.5. If you're a really big guy, it might be, 2 to 2.5. Same thing for ladies. If you're kind of a more petite lady, 1 is going to be fine. If you're a little bit bigger of a woman, you might need like 1.5. It's very rare that ladies need 2 of each of these. Okay. But maybe that might be you, right? So pay attention to that. And that's how you're going to get into that 40-30-30 balance. If you want to be super precise about it, shoot me an email, let me know, and we can measure that out. And stay tuned for that zone diet breakdown video coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Okay. So let's talk about supplements, because everybody always wants to talk about supplements because it's a big deal. Here's the thing about supplements. If you are not doing all of the diligent work to make sure your diet is on point 90% of the time, you don't need supplements. You don't. We have a partnership with First Form. We sell First Form supplements. I don't want you to buy supplements if your diet isn't on point, because it doesn't matter. It's not going to make a difference, and you're going to get frustrated and you're going to quit. I don't want you to quit. I want you to stay with this long term, which means that your diet needs to be dialed in before we start having a conversation about supplements. Okay. Now, we have partnered with First Form because I believe that they make very, very good products and that they are a very good and honest company. So that's why we've partnered with them. The big ones that we recommend most to people are Formula One and Level One. Formula One is a post-workout fast-absorbing protein. Level One is like a meal replacement type protein, so it lasts a little longer in your gut. Whole Mega is their omega three, Full Mega is their omega three fish oil. Omega three fish oils, and that's a whole other topic. But omega 3 fish oils are super beneficial for a ton of different reasons, especially because we live in landlocked states. So we don't get a lot of, fish oil, healthy fish oil in our diet. And the other thing is Microfactor. It's their multivitamin pack that can be helpful to fill in gaps as well. Those are the 4 that we recommend most often. It doesn't mean that there are products out there that they have that won't be helpful for you and your goals. And there are other companies out there that if you would rather do their stuff, that's fine. And I will help you figure out what you need from those other companies. I have no problem with that. Different companies have different formulations of things that work better for some people than others. That's why there's a bunch of companies out there, because everybody has their own twist on it. And some people like that one better than this one. Okay. Doesn't matter. What matters is you have your diet dialed in first, and then we have a conversation about supplements. Okay. And if you have questions about that, dude, I will nerd on that with you ad nauseum. I can answer all those questions for you. Okay. So get your diet dialed in, and then let's talk about supplements and if you even need them. Okay. So what's your next challenge? Your first 4 weeks was in Nutrition 101, Nutrition 102. Using the quality foods from Challenge 1, I want you to start using the hand method to measure them out for the next 4 weeks. Okay? Once you've done that for at least 4 weeks, then you can flip to Nutrition 103, which should be dropping about mid-2025. And that's where we're going to get really in depth into the zone diet and how to figure out how many supplements you should have and what should my macros actually look like so I can really dial them in. That's what we're going to answer in Nutrition 103. But if you're not eating really good quality foods and learning how to measure those out, at least from a hand standpoint, going in depth into super hardcore weighing, measuring your food is going to feel overwhelming. Okay. So do that first and then come back and attack Nutrition 103. All right. And if you guys, as always, guys, if you have questions, please, please, please email me. I'm serious. I want to see you win. I want to see you succeed. And you can't succeed if you've got questions that you don't ask. Okay. So email me your questions. I'd love to help you guys with this. That is the baseline of those nutritional facts. And I'll look forward to seeing you guys in the box. Have a great day.